So this facility is designed that a truck would drive over here. This conveyor, the concrete would be even with the top. So the truck would dump the grain into this conveyor. It would go into this elevator right here. Hopefully you can see my cursor moving around. It would go into that elevator and go up and come out one of these pipes. You'd have this here there'd be controls that you would put in what you're unloading, and it would move this distributor thing to put down the correct pipe. You would have your soybeans over here in this bin, your raw soybeans. You'd have your corn in one of these bins, and your millet or whatever your third ingredient is in one of these bins. Now, what we would do is we would have the beans come out of that bin raw into the roaster. They would go through the roaster, go through the steeping and cooling hopper, and out the steam, and then there'd be a steam vent here. So this is a fan that would be sucking any air, steam off the top of this container, this hopper, or off the roaster, and would be blowing that outside. A little auger would come off the bottom of that cooling hopper, come out, dump in a little elevator. That elevator would go up and dump into this bin. So that way, in here, you would have this bin. This bin would be your roasted beans. This would be your corn or whatever. This would be whatever else. And we would meter those products into this conveyor. And that conveyor would take it to the elevator. And by the time it would go through the elevator, it would be a blended product that would come out this pipe and go to the bagging. Or, which I didn't draw it on here, but we could have a pipe coming off of here going out here that could dump into a truck. So you could blend directly onto a truck and have bulk feed if you wanted. This hopper I built as like your bagging hopper. Then you'd have your bagging line along here. That's what I picture. There's different ways of configuring it. That's just what I'm picturing. And the automation would run it, that the automation would automatically run these augers at predetermined speeds to make the correct blend. They would also, if this hopper over here, this bagging hopper got full, it would stop the blending until this hopper here dropped down again. Then it would start the blending. Or you could have in the controls that there would be a max run time. So that way when you're in here bagging, you start your bagging system and you say, okay, I'm making so many ton per hour or a ton per hour. And we would punch in however many hours. That way it has about the right amount of feed you want to make. And then your blending automatically shuts off after you've run for a predetermined amount of time. We could, if you look here, this cooling hopper, it has the fan on here, has the auger on the bottom going out through the wall, has this fan here blowing out through the wall, and then here we show this auger coming in through, feeding this here roaster. That hooks on there. Now, the interesting thing about this whole facility, this facility is designed, like right there, you see the pipe coming through the wall, it's a steam vent. This whole facility is designed to grow. I always design my facilities to grow, and this one is no different. We're going to look at the future. So with looking at the future, here, this is, I didn't get all the details put in this drawing because this one is very much conceptual, as this is future. So here you have a grain cleaner. So if you want to build if you want clean grain, so if you want your grain cleaned, you have a grain cleaner here. You have you have a hopper bin here. So you would bring your dirty grain in, dump it in here, and then it would go through the cleaner and then to a bin. Here, we have that same conveyor running up through here, but now we have 6 ingredient bins here. Over here, we have 2 long-term storage bins, and this would be extended to dump into the conveyor. These would maybe be moved down a little bit. I may have them a little close to the conveyor, for the trucks would be too close here. But it's just to give you an idea of what we would be working with if we would go so far as to build something. Then I would move stuff around, finish this drawing, finish the design work of everything, all the augers, conveyors, and then we can do all the measurements to make sure it's all built correctly. So this is just a concept to give you an idea of what we're working with, and to see if this is the idea you're looking at. That way, like, these 2 bins here would be for if you said, well, you can buy corn cheaper if you buy more at harvest. So you'd fill a bin with corn. Or you say you can buy beans cheaper if you buy them at harvest, and you'd fill a bin with beans. So that's the reason for those 2 bins for long-term storage if you're buying grain at harvest. And then this here is for if you decided to make more different types in the future, different types of feed. So that is the design I've come up with. Now, this does not show this roaster in a container. It shows it in a building. And I honestly think if you're building a complete setup, I would just put this roaster in the building. It would clean up the design of your facility. And when it comes to the hopper bins, the bagging, the full bagging line, I will draw the full bagging line in here once we decide what for bagging line you want to go with. There is a lot of different options on bagging, and we'll have to have a conversation on what options you're looking for. Like, do you want a fully automated bagging, like all robotic, or do you want a simple one where 2 people bag feed and it's fairly manual? So we'll have to have a conversation about that. So there you have it. I believe that pretty much shows you what I'm thinking. And if you have something you would like to see a little different, let me know. And I can move stuff around quite a bit. I just think this is a efficient facility that's designed to grow.